we have this completely useless tourism slogan, Croatia full of life, which doesn't mean anything. And for me, I would change that to Croatia, your safe, authentic lifestyle destination. Ja sam Paul Bradbury, rođen u Kiši u Manchesteru. Onda ja sam preselio tam na sunčani Hvar preko Somaliju I to je moja priča. 20 years ago, I was working as a humanitarian aid worker in Somalia, in Somaliland in the north, and I just sold my house, and I was looking to buy a house somewhere in Europe, close to the sea, where I decided that I would keep my books and have a base. I wanted to be an aid worker forever. There was an advert on CNN from the Croatian National Tourist Board, thank you, which said Croatia, the Mediterranean as it once was. 30 seconds of magic, and that was it. I decided I wanted to move to Croatia, and so I started looking into real estate, and a few weeks later I found myself in Jelsa on Hvar, and there was only one house for sale, so I bought it. No, I've always been a very spontaneous person. I've never really had a proper job. I've worked as a male chambermaid in Munich. I've worked as a English, French, German and Russian teacher in Japan. I've worked as a laser crystals guy in Moscow, and so everything I do in my life has always been very spontaneous. And when I saw this advert, I just felt there was a calling for Croatia, and I came, and I didn't expect to spend a lot of time here, but then I met a lovely young lady, and I started a family, and I found life on Hvar was absolutely incredible. And for somebody who travelled to 95 countries and lived in 10 different countries, for the next 16 years I didn't go to a single new country. It was as though Croatia had everything to offer in one place, and it was fabulous. It was the best decision of my life. Living in Croatia is a little bit like having malaria, because once you get it, you never get it quite out of your system, and it's the same with living in Croatia. And I describe Croatia as being life in Absurdistan, with the best lifestyle in Europe, with a sprinkling of Balkan insanity on top. And I find it really, really addictive. And if you asked me to go back to Manchester now and live, I don't think I would survive, because it's just, but there's something about Croatia which I find absolutely incredible. Do I feel totally local? No, I don't think I could ever be, but over the 20 years I've come to understand a little bit of the ways of people here, and I think it's a very challenging country. There are definitely lots of problems, but the positives far outweigh the negatives in Croatia. And if you have the right mindset and you can connect with the right people, there is so much positivity under the radar in this country. It's fantastic, honestly, and it's a really exciting time to be here. When I moved here, I found it was quite well. I guess my biggest problem was I didn't really understand anything about Croatia whatsoever. I bought the house basically on the recommendation of a friend. I came in the middle of August in 2002. It was Vela Gospa when I first came to Jelsa, and I thought I'd found paradise, and I had. But when I came back a month later to sign the final papers, everything was a bit quieter, and I couldn't understand why. I just thought what I'd found was it was going to be like this every single day. And at the end of September, my favourite restaurant was closed, and I saw the waiter the next day on the piazza, and I said, "Your restaurant's closed. When are you opening?" He said, "In May." And I said, "May?" And I suddenly realised that, like, this was going to be 7 months you have a restaurant that's not open. And then slowly it dawned on me that this perfect thing I'd found in August was not 12 months a year, it was about 6 weeks. And then the reality of what I'd done started out, and so began my journey in Croatia to exist on an island and start building a life there. And it's been magical. A lot of foreigners come to Croatia and they see opportunities and they think they can get rich quick. I've had so many ideas over the years that we can do this, and the way I describe it to people, especially in Dalmatia, is we come here with our Western mindset, which is a bit arrogant, and we think you need to have this and this and this and this, and then things, you'll make money, we'll make money, everybody's happy. But there's a reason that there's no Starbucks in Croatia, and there's a reason that there's very little fast food, and there's a reason why things that exist in other countries just don't exist here. And it took me 15 years to formulate one sentence of advice, which I now give freely to any Western businessman coming to Dalmatia. and I say, if you can accept this piece of advice, this sentence, you will have paradise. If it takes you years to accept this sentence, as it did me, you will have frustration. And the sentence is very simple. Do not try and change Dalmatia, but expect Dalmatia to change you. And if you can really truly grasp what that means from the first day, then this place really, really is paradise. But with our arrogant sort of business mindset, it's quite hard to accept that. Am I richer? It depends how you define wealth. If you talk about financially richer, no, I'm poorer. In terms of quality of life, I'm infinitely richer than I've ever been. This place really is, with the right mindset, is fantastic. So my current job is I run a news portal called Total Croatia News, which is the largest English language news portal for Croatia. We have about 25 stories a day on politics, lifestyle, travel, sport. We're a Google News partner. We have very good contacts with the international media. We brought ABC News to Dubrovnik for 6 days during the pandemic. We brought the New York Times, Sunday Times to Hvar. And we have a mission to not just talk about football, not just talk about the beach and tourism, but actually to talk about Croatia. Some of its problems, a lot of the entrepreneurship, a lot of the young people doing wonderful things here, because one of the big problems I found here is that we have what I call a default negative mindset in Croatia. We're very, very good at complaining. And we're very, very bad at celebrating success of other people. And so one of the sentences, I think, which is the truest thing I've heard here, is a Croatian can forgive you anything but success. And part of the reason I think that a lot of people are leaving this country, it's because of the corruption, it's because of the nepotism, but also it's because of this feeling that there is nothing good happening in this country. And my experience is the opposite is true. There's also a big, big shift here, which nobody's really talking about, of foreigners are moving to Croatia, not for tourism, but for work. Remats is importing a lot of workers, Infobip the same, and lots of other smaller businesses the same thing. I think the thing about Croatia that a lot of Croatians don't quite understand, I think one of the things about Croatia that local people don't quite appreciate is just how attractive it is to foreigners. We have this completely useless tourism slogan, Croatia full of life, which doesn't mean anything. And for me, I would change that to Croatia, your safe, authentic lifestyle destination. We are one of the safest countries in Europe. We are one of the countries with the best lifestyle in Europe. We are a country which has more authentic experiences than anywhere else in Europe. 365 days a year. There's always something happening in some village all over this country. And so another project I'm doing, which I did with my my editor from Total Croatia News, Lauren Simmons, is we wrote a book called Croatia, a Survival Kit for Foreigners. And this is a book of two halves. One of it is my reflections of the good, the bad and the ugly of living in Croatia, but very, very honest, of living here for 20 years. And so I talk about the bureaucracy, about Uhljebistan, about olive oil, about wine, about Vukovar, Slavonia, running a media portal. But it's really, really sort of honest, and so you get a real feeling from a foreigner who's lived here what it's like. And the second half of the book, written by Lauren, is a very practical guide for people moving here, working for Remats and Infobip, how to open a bank account, how to get an OIB, and how to make friends, how to find a dentist, that kind of thing. And so it's the sort of thing that if you're moving to Croatia, you're going to get a really good feeling from somebody who's lived there, breathed it, has come up with one sentence that took 15 years to make, and then you have a very practical thing at the end of it. And I'm really delighted that with 24 Sata, 24 hours, that we have a show now called A Survival Kit for Foreigners, where we're meeting foreigners from the diaspora, expats, returnees, remote workers, tourists who have an interest in Croatia, and we're looking at Croatia from their perspective. And I think it will be a fascinating thing for local people to watch, to see how foreigners see Croatia. So tune into the show. Thank you very much for watching MOJA PRIČA. I hope it wasn't too boring. And if you liked what you heard, please join me as I host our new show on 24 Sata, Croatia, a survival kit for foreigners.